Here we are with an Athenian League quarter-final match. So this is the Mythic Division, which is, we've said before the stream, before the game, but it's about 1,600 rated players. And these are the players that came second and third in their group stages. So on the bottom side of the map, as the blue Frey, he is Duck Nugget. He was in the same bracket as me, the same division, which is the Hephaestus division, came third in that one. And then on the top left side, as the red Isis, is Dexito. He is from Mexico, and he came second in his Mythic Artemis Division League. So the winner of this one actually plays against me, so that's why I'm heavily invested in this matchup. It is a best of 5. We're going to see how these guys go. And you might be looking at the map and thinking, this is a bit of a spicy map. It's got all the trees around the outside. What map is it? It's the unknown. So during this tournament, how the group stages worked is we had best of 3s, but you played every game. So even if it was 2-0, you would play the last game out just in case you won that one. So then you would win 3-0. You would get an extra point over somebody winning 2-1. But now how these games work is the first map is on the unknown. The lower seed, so the player that came third within the division, he picks first. So Duck Nugget would have picked Frey first, and then Dexito would have replied with an Isis. And whoever wins this game then chooses the next map, and I believe the other player chooses the god. But anyway, the loser picks the map. That is definitely the rule. And if you win with a god, so say Duck Nugget wins with his Frey, he can't play Frey again. That is it. So getting into this one, the map has spawned in... I mean, you could... This map's pretty crazy. It spawns in some weird ways. You often get these quite defensive setups, which I think is why Frey is a quite a good pick for this map. The only thing about the Norse is, I mean, they don't have the best scouting out of everybody. We see here that Duck Nugget's Berserk has only really scouted probably a third, if that, of this map, whereas the Isis can scout a little bit more, getting those obelisks up. Probably only got a third up as well, to be honest. Probably going for one of those builds where you get gold a little bit later on, going for your 8 wood out of a palm tree, getting your pickaxe. It's the most efficient, but it means that you don't get as much scouting information in. And he's also done something where he's kind of walked around the outside of the base first and then gone forward. I really don't know what's the best to do with Isis. Isis is my main god, so I've been kind of experimenting with going really forward with the obelisks first to then spot your opponent's second and third town centers to potentially go for those first. But there is also something of just playing more defensive, seeing your own town centers, seeing your own kind of back gold mines, something similar to that. I think this map has spawns with just the normal 4 relics, so we'll have a look at what they are before the players advance. You know, Duck Nugget's going pretty quickly. Ula's bow is ranged soldiers have more range, which is very, very good for either player, to be honest. Heroes do more damage against myth units, always a good one to pick up, especially if you go through Nephthys also, it's very, very nice. God powers, cooldowns and costs are reduced, so that's good for anything that you want to reuse, and then increases hack armor of infantry, which would be nice for the Frey. If he can get that one, go for that kind of full infantry heroic age build where he goes for the full wood units, this will be very, very strong. So hopefully if you're a Duck Nugget fan, he does manage to pick that one up. We'll see if he does manage to pick that one up, sorry. Dexito going for the early prosperity. So this could potentially be to get some priests out, to put some harassment on, or go for a second town center plus priests, or plus anything, basically. Just wants to spend that gold nice and early. Looks like Duck Nugget, with his fast advance time, does manage to pick off a priest, so already got some value from that fast advance time. And Dexito doing something a little bit different, kind of changing his mind halfway through. Normally what you want to do is put the majority of villagers that you have over to gold while this prosperity is on, because you get an absolutely huge increase. But he's gone, actually, I don't want that much gold now. Maybe it's because he's lost his priest, maybe that's the reason, but he's gonna have to change his mind there. And Duck Nugget, because he got that really fast uptime, he's gone, well, there's nothing you can really do to stop my hill fort. So hill fort goes up, old Thorgir Flatnose, and actually Budlerson getting that one up, securing himself a gold mine, some water buffaloes, and a settlement later on. Something about this map, how it's spawned, is all the gold is forward in this middle strip except for one very defensive gold mine for both players. So this one, especially for Dexito, it can be walled off so easily. This one's, I mean, it's a back gold mine for Duck Nugget, but it's kind of out of the way. So it makes sense for him to kind of need that map pressure very early, whereas just how Dexito's base is spawned, he doesn't need it as much. Looks like Dexito's going for a town center. I was going to say, it looks like he's going fast heroic from just dropping that armory down, but he did walk over here, get this town center. This town center obviously isn't as good as the middle ones, but with such a late uptime, you can't really walk forward for free to grab that one, especially against Norse, that even if they're not going for some super early aggro play, they're going to have units out because they need to build their longhouses, need to build town centers if that's what they choose to go for. Anubites coming in is kind of the standard play for ISIS against Norse. The Anubites from Anubis are so strong. Duck Nugget is managing to snipe this one down. Nice jump away from Dexito. He needs to put that guy on manual cast for his jump. Otherwise, he'll jump in and he is then susceptible for Hersers to whack him down. One thing about Frey, though, is he doesn't have the Forsetti fast Hersers. So Helgi the Lean plus other guys, looks like a priest is actually going down again there, won't be able to run after those jumpy boys, Nubites, because they are 5 speed, plus they have the jump, and then only a 4.8 speed Herser. Looks like a pretty slow-paced kind of early game. Duck Nugget securing map pressure over Dexito going for a town center. I think it's quite interesting to see a town center up against Norse from the ISIS player. Normally what you want to do is start off with these triple barracks first off, or even just double barracks, get a handful of units out, go for some raids, put some kind of pressure on after you get some sort of unit mass. We're going in for the 2 town centers first of all, and potentially just a 2 TC full classical fight for the ISIS. We'll see what he's seen. So he has seen that the Asgardian Hill Fort is going up. He's seen this aggressive wall, which I love, this Duck Nugget wall. It cuts off all these giraffes, random zebra on his lonesome, and this defensive gold mine. The spearmen are going to come in and kind of shut that one down. From an eco-wise perspective, Archaic Age upgrades probably for both sides. Maybe not the wood upgrade for Isis, because she just doesn't need that much wood early on, unless she's going for slingers, which slingers are more when you see the answer to some throwing axemen, you want to get some slingers out. And I think I did just spot in the queue there are portable rams. So this is something that only Frey can do. He can get these portable rams from a certain upgrade. Does it show here? This upgrade here. He's then hit them in his hill fort and could potentially go for a big attack on this town center. It's got a big mass of units, especially while he's being raided. Be absolutely huge to just take this town center down. Dexito, I think, is paying attention more to the raids back at home, and is going to lose so many villagers here. And now the portable rams going over to the town center, it's going to be absolutely huge. So we see down here, the medium spearmen do want to come back over. Could just be worth garrisoning everything, or even just turning around and fight for those villagers back at home. But town center's going to go down so quickly, and I don't think it really got that many villagers out. So nice play here from the fray. The spearmen of Dexito are going to try and come back, but straight underneath the Asgardian hill fort here. And unfortunately, one wood villager did get left over here, so she's going to be taken out very, very quickly. So even though there was a 2 TC to 1 TC for about 3 minutes-ish, there's only 6 villagers in the lead for our ISIS player. And Duck Nugget, I mean, he kind of has a choice here. He still has a small unit advantage, so he can just keep pressuring, maybe go back, get some upgrades, then push again, which looks like that could potentially be what he's doing with that medium infantry. Or he can go for the next stage, get an A-gear push going, where he can drop a Tempest and just have a more forceful push, but a little bit later on. So those are his kind of options there. For the ISIS, I mean, she hasn't lost too much, to be honest. Did lose that town center, which isn't ideal, but got enough in this main base. Didn't lose too many villagers. If he could have got out with every villager, not lost any to that huge food raid, then I think it would be pretty even. But actually being quite greedy is the ISIS here. trying to get these. Duck Nugget should potentially come over here, just have a scout looking ahead. But Duck Nugget is definitely favorable in this game. Shutting down the vision also. Yeah, it looks like the Fray isn't building any more units. So he decides what he wants to go for. He could go for a town center if he wants to. This middle town center, get more map pressure, could be an option. The only thing is that you then leave yourself susceptible to a heroic age push from the ISIS with the full siege. Basically, what you've just dealt to your opponent, you receiving that yourself. And the town center is going to come up, but I think that Asgardian Hill Fort should really be enough to scare off those. So it's a house for a spearman, and the spearmen are going to try and run away. It looks like they are going to just get a little bit of pressure on these gatherers, but does lose a spearman for that. Don't really want to do that, but the slingers can set out of range of this Asgardian Hill Fort. So nice little play there, but Duck Nugget does secure his TC. And the Anubite is unfortunately gonna go down here. I think Texito wants to build this wall here, which I know that wall was there earlier. Unfortunately, the wolf is actually going to come over to hit him, but he doesn't think that this wall was here. So there is that. It's like old champion Bane, the Herser, going to try and come and have a look around the outside. I'm sure he knows that this gold mine's here. Very, very defensive gold mine. We mentioned it earlier for the ISIS. It's just absolutely free, which does get him up to the next stage, which is through Nepthys. And now the mass berserks coming in to just get a raid off, but nice reactions from Dexito there to pull off. And as Dexito saw this just basically full berserk kind of play, he's then going to go into those axemen. But actually, you see a little bit of a raid coming off, or potential raid from those Hersers, but unfortunately the Herser is going to get picked off by that spearman. But Duck Nugget did manage to get this upgrade, this relic earlier, which gives him extra hack armor, which is going to be very nice for this full infantry-based army. Getting the armory up, that could be to go to the next stage, but also could just be to get these armory upgrades out. They take so long as Frey, but they're really, really cheap, so it's just definitely worth getting those out. And now the Vil lead, with that heroic age coming in and the second town center, Duck Nugget is ahead in this field lead, and actually going for his second Asgardian Hill Fort just to defend this middle position. Does have this gold mine that he needs to defend, and then this one's actually so close also. So definitely read the map very well, has the Fray. From the ISIS perspective, ISIS is getting her town center again. See shaft mine coming in, makes sense. When playing as Egyptians, get your gold in early. But we do have something from the chat saying meteor value is real, and yeah, some kind of Mythic Age play to drop a meteor, get a catapult out, finish these things off would be absolutely huge. Whether or not he could survive that long, but it's definitely an option. And actually, the ISIS here getting pretty greedy, going for this gold mine, knowing that that's exactly where the dwarves are. It's like he doesn't care. Scorpion Man, though, is going to come around the back. Plague of Serpents comes down. Can Ancestors as well for kind of the double hit of the god powers. Now the siege towers are going to slowly take down those houses. Aegir is pre-queued, but looks like there's not that many food gatherers for Duck Nugget, so will be a little bit of ways from that heroic age, but he can already get this wood-based army, which is why he doesn't have that much on this food. Going for the Huskars, going for the throwing axemen, just a really sick combo. Unfortunately, one is going to get a little bit lost. Poison damage coming in from those spearmen with that nice poison upgrade there. And I think Dexito, I think he just wants to stay here. He wants to get his upgrades. It's also getting some caravans. I guess he's just saying this is the last gold mine that I can actually get, but he has managed to push off this side, which Duck Nugget is kind of letting him have this gold mine. I don't know whether I'd be doing that. But also, this is often just the Frey way. He kind of... Frey is ahead, and if Frey is ahead, equal, or even slightly behind, then you're fine to bring the game to late game as Frey. His god powers, like Golem Burst, he just gets stronger. He can get all his upgrades in for really, really cheap. What's the kind of split here? So I have 20 spearmen. How many axemen are there? 12 axemen. I think 12 axemen, maybe not enough to deal with this full army of infantry. Unfortunately, the Scorpion Man is getting caught out. He's going to get some poison damage off, but if he can run away, heal this one back up, then it'll be absolutely fine. Scorpion Men so strong. I only see the 2 monuments actually from the Isis, which is kind of interesting when you're against a player who doesn't really have many hearses out. If you could get just like, he probably has the favor here for 3 more of these Scorpion Men. Just go for it. They're so strong. And Dexito is hitting the go button here. Wants to just go for it. Has the Ancestors drop. The Axemen coming in to deal with the infantry. But here comes Golem Bursty. And that's always an option. He doesn't need to be in the Heroic Age or in the Mythic Age to get this guy down. He gives enough value anyway. And I think Siege Tower number 1 is going to go down. Siege Tower number 2. And probably could have baited that one out without the Ancestors, potentially. Is getting a bit of healing in from the monument. From the Isis monument. Definitely love that. Definitely love that play. It's one of my favorite plays. And actually, I think that was to stop the Golem Bursty, but the Golem Bursty range, he could just drop it here. So respect the play. But if the monument was maybe just behind the siege tower here, just behind the siege works, I think he could have completely stopped the Golem Bursty. Tempest is now in, and the monument here is going to try and stop that one. But I mean, you could also just put it right here, or just kill the Pharaoh off and then use it, because then the range just drops down to basically nothing, and that's exactly what Duck Nugget goes for. Good play. And he's going to force the Isis back. Probably the best god power in this whole game, to be honest. At least the best Heroic Age god power. That's going to push all the Isis classical units back. And now Duck Nugget's going for this town center for the second time. Got his portable rams, 1, 2, and 3, jumping onto that town center. And Dexito I definitely respect the idea of trying to empower the monument. But even getting a later monument, maybe the 3rd monument up, because it actually gets extra range as you go up the monuments. So the monument to the villagers has the least range, and then if you do the monument to the gods, which is obviously really costly, but the range is huge. So even getting that monument to the pharaohs there could have stopped the Golem Bursty, or just putting it in a potentially different spot. But now the rock giants are out. Does the priests have the upgrade? No, they don't have the Nephthys upgrade to do more damage to these rock giants, but there's only one rock giant. They should be able to take them out eventually. You see there's 2 priests here that are just tickling him down. Slinger's unfortunately not being microed onto those throwing axemen. You just need to click on them, shift click. He did then notice, but as soon as Dexito noticed, Duck Nugget noticed also, so is going to run away. Has managed to sneak this gold mine though. Also snuck through this wall up here, or not snuck through. Duck Nugget knows about it because the wall has gone down. And now we start to see those upgrades slowly coming in for the fray. As this Feast of Renown one, which slowly gets you food and it heals up anything that's around the hill forts. So very, very strong. Duck Nugget has so many gold mines to choose from. And deciding to go through Vidar, get that final Fenrir flamey boy to come through and deal some big damage. Dexito getting a Migdal Stronghold up here. I think it's probably worth... I mean, maybe he's just committing to camel caravans now, but it would probably be worth trying to, whack one up next to your gold mine. It's one step ahead of me, already going for that one. You want to defend your gold mines with these Migdal Strongholds. And potentially getting another monument up. The next one's cheap. It's still Monument to the Soldiers. So put that wherever your army is. Get your Pharaoh on it, which means that the Fenrir... I don't even know what it's called. Whatever. The big god power. Whenever that one comes through, you can stop it with the nice Isis bonus. Whenever it comes through, we'll find out what it's called. couple of Scorpion men coming in. Duck Nugget is just sitting back, being very patient, just letting the buildings go down. There's no reason to fight this. He doesn't mind losing all of these long houses. He's got 10 long houses here. Losing these 3 is not a big deal. So playing this one very, very nicely. Just waiting, just knowing that he can definitely take this kind of hit to just lose 100 wood, lose 100 wood here, 190 wood, whatever it is. And Vidar is on the way. Stone walls coming in, bowsaw, crenellations, basically just the Frey game plan. Get every upgrade all at once. And do we see this monument? We don't. And in comes the Inferno. A nice split from the Isis here. Unfortunately, everything gets hit on the CC end, but the real damage comes from the Wolf running. The CC that's right at the end doesn't really do much. We see that it's on, you know, it's lost about 20 HP. So not the most value from that. But the real value comes from getting your extra upgrades in, getting all these Berserker upgrades, the Silent Resolve here, the Fury of the Fallen, which is when some of them die next to you, you then get a little damage boost. So if you lose loads of them, then you get an insane damage boost. So we'll see that one coming through very, very shortly. The Portable Rams are going to come in again. The Isis did manage to get that monument to the soldiers up, but a little bit too late. And now in comes Fafnir. We saw there was no Nephthys upgrade, so I think Fafnir is going to spell a bit of disaster. Nice bit of garrison micro to sort that out. But Duck Nugget does manage to get this one. I mean, it all stemmed from that very early push. He got mad value on the raid, plus the town center going down. As I kind of mentioned earlier, I think if the raid didn't come through and it was just the town center, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But nice play from Duck Nugget on this one. He goes up 1-0. Game number 2, we're in. Duck Nugget spawning in the left. He's decided to pick the Thor. So as he won the last game, I believe he has to pick the God first. But I definitely could be wrong in that one. He probably needs to read the rules as I'll be playing this one next week. But he is going in as the Thor on Oasis. And this is Dexito's map. So he's decided to go in with the Odin for Oasis. The Oasis that spawned is one you can run through the middle, which I think is quite nice for the Odin if he's going for some kind of raiding situation. I mean, I'm not an Odin player, but I don't know if this is the best Odin map. Just because this map has less hunt on it than probably all the other maps. It has one pack of gazelles / giraffes, and then you get one set of berries, I think. It could be 2 sets of berries, potentially. And then you get these packs of baboons, which it looks like there's a lot of them, but they don't give much food each. So it's kind of an interesting choice there. But we'll see if the Odin can make it work. From the Thor perspective, did he go for that Dwarven Armory start? Looks like he didn't. Hasn't gone for the Dwarven Armory, so going for a later Armory there. So, I mean, there are kind of 2 ways to go. I think it makes sense not going for the Dwarven Armory against some early aggression. So if you're expecting the Odin or the Kronos or the Poseidon to get some early damage done on you, then those extra 3 villagers aren't really worth losing those villagers later. It's just better to get your armory up and then go for that one a little bit later. And actually, one of the recent changes for Thor is that in each age, your armory upgrades come through quicker. So it isn't so bad getting them in the classical age because they do come through slightly quicker. I think it's 30 seconds in the classical age and 60 seconds in the archaic age or something very, very similar. I think Duck Nugget did just drop his house there, build it up a little bit, and then think, oh no, I want to go scout the map. He definitely didn't need to do it so early, so respect the scout. I'll have a look at some relics, as one has been uncovered here. Myth units use their special attacks more often. So if we think about classical units for either of them, so that's going to be Trolls or Valkyries. Valkyries don't have a special, but Trolls or the Einherji. So either of those getting one. And Dexito going for this kind of rotated temple. It's not something you see very often. But unless you're seeing people make their base look nice, but maybe just the extra area. I think when a square is kind of rotated, it should have the same area. But still, going for that rotated situation. Other relics, Dwarven Calipers, siege weapons are cheaper. We saw siege weapons come and play a big part in that first game. And then Bow of Huangdi is snare from ranged units. So you're throwing axemen are going to snare, and villagers work faster. Gold and wood 5%. This one's just a grab if you see it. It's you know, gives you that little boost. I think the one that gives gold is slightly better because it gives 10% gold, which is, I mean, gold is so important to everything. And Duck Nugget turning around his temple as well. Is there something that I don't know? Does someone know why people are rotating their temples on Oasis? We didn't see this either of the first two games. Wild. But it means he can get 2 houses up and basically put a wall along this side. So why not? Why not go for it? The Hersa is going to move over here, grab Tail of Cerberus, Myth units, ability, recharge time going down. Didn't even know you could rotate buildings. Yeah, I think it's something to do with the mouse. Can I pretend to put a building down? He can't afford a temple. Can these guys afford a temple? He can't afford a temple. Or maybe I'm just not allowed in spectator mode. Who's through first? Oh, here. Oh. It's shift and mouse wheel. For those playing at home. Shift and mouse wheel. So yeah, I think it is so that you can basically it costs less to do a wall. But pretty wild. Maybe for the temple, it kind of makes sense. Because, I mean, you've got so much time to think about where that temple goes down. Later on, when you get Great Halls and you get these other ones that you just kind of want to spam up and you're not so bothered about where they go. But the first one is that kind of min-maxing. Valkyrie is coming in for Dexito, just having a little look around. Nice wall up here from Duck Nugget. Meaning the Valkyrie's going to take a little bit of heat on the way out, but she'll be absolutely fine. Both players deciding to go through Freya here, so going for something similar. I kind of, when I play Thor, I do like Thor as the Norse. It's like Forest Fire going down, getting some good value. It looks like the Hersas for Dexito are a little bit out of position. No wall this side either. So Duck Nugget gets some good value here. Also animation cancelling that one time. Oh, the Ox cart gets in the way, and unfortunately the animation with that Valkyrie didn't get that extra villager kill, but does drag 2 Hersas into the Forest Fire. That's absolutely huge. There's a low HP one here. Huge value from that Valkyrie. Just from how the base kind of worked out for Duck Nugget here, or at least where he is on the wood. He's on that defensive wood. So Dexito didn't have the option to kind of do that play or as well anyway. Now, the blue Valkyrie is going to run through. But what I was saying about Thor is when you're playing against Odin, I do kind of just like matching the Odin and role-playing as him. I know that your Great Hall units aren't as good as the Odin, and they don't heal and whatever, but you do get your armory upgrades that give you dwarves, so you should technically have more armor or more attack than the Odin, so it should equal out. I mean, that's kind of my game, that's my stance on it. And I think that is what Duck Nugget is also going for, and he has got himself a healthy lead, as well as getting his dwarves out now. So if we move over to this side, looks like he's got his 2 upgrades here, and the Hammer of Thunder coming through to get him extra favor from those Hersas and gets him a dwarf. So, not bad. Kettle Flatnose. I've just been looking at all of these, all these names. They got some great names. Oh, I'm not going to say that one. Now, from here, the Odin's walling up pretty defensively here. Also trying to get some raids off with these raiding cavalry. Looks like the dwarves here got a little bit confused. I think that gate wasn't there and it kind of messed up their pathing. Dexito could get a little bit of damage here, but nicely pulled off by Duck Nugget there, and all his units are here, so should be able to defend. Whether or not Dexito can get one before he gets out. Unfortunately, his units are attacking different places. Oh, 9 HP dwarf. Could have managed to get that one. If the Odin loses no units here, then it's not a problem. He can heal those back up with the Valkyrie and Odin kind of combo. So nothing to worry about there from Dexito's side. Unfortunately, he didn't get that kill, but not bad for him. Didn't lose anything. And also, Duck Nugget can heal up everything as well. Dexito has enough favor in the bank for another Valkyrie, so he can heal up his other Valkyrie. Has finished up on the food, though, so potentially moving over to some outside food. Unfortunately, these dwarves are getting confused with the ox cart. It's just one of those things you got to spot. It's very annoying. Definitely happens to me. Oh, he's trying. He's trying. He's trying to get back. There he goes. Oof. And now it's a long trek back. The rotated temple is the next thing under siege, though, from these raiding cavalry. And the hearse are coming in to deal with that. Dexito definitely has more military presence here, so if he can bring everything to one spot, a fight is in his favor. Whether or not he knows that is one of the things very, very difficult to know. The blue raiders, though, do have their medium upgrade and 2 armory upgrades, so should be pretty equal fight if red has more numbers, blue has more upgrades. Actually, Dexito getting in his upgrades now, getting in copper shields. Maybe was there tower upgrades? That's one of those things. I think this is something that when you're in a Norse mirror or against Norse, unless you're going up against mass trolls or you're sieging underneath town centers and watchtowers, I just don't think copper shields is ever worth it. Say you have enough wood and gold to get an upgrade, and you're like, I might as well get it. I don't think it's worth it. I just don't think there's any point in actually doing that. But maybe someone can tell me if I'm wrong. But I just don't think that kind of makes sense. It's quite cheap, but it's just kind of throwing away. You know, that's enough wood to build an extra longhouse, get 2 extra raiders out. It just makes more sense. But medium infantry coming in, so a little bit of a shift into those infantry coming through. Dexito working the map pretty well, keeping Duck Nugget busy with his units. Duck Nugget is going into those herdmen, though. And it looks like potentially Duck Nugget wants to go Heroic Age, just looking from his eco-wise. Has pre-queued that Thundering Hooves that will be coming in 2 favor time, but will still have enough to get up to the next stage. Obviously has his armory already and enough on gold to kind of get through. Is moving over to this next gold mine now. Unfortunately, a Gatherer's snuck through to gold, and the same situation coming through. Is this a bug, or was that just unlucky for both players? Or the raiders have snuck in. The wall isn't finished yet. This is a nice find, but I don't know whether he will be able to get out. There's only a town centre here to deal with the damage. No watchtowers yet, but the herdmen are going to be a bit of a struggle. A nice bit of attempt of micro there, but unfortunately they run the wrong way. I think they're in a pretty good spot anyway, but Dexito does lose a handful of units. I think he could have lost more if the micro was placed there. Looks like it was afterwards. It's unfortunate there, but still get some good value and going through Scardy also. So this is, if Dexito's staying classical age, now is his time to get some kind of damage done. I mean, he has been getting the full pressure on. I think Duck Nugget's defended pretty well, but the pressure is relentless. Pressure just keeps coming. I think this longhouse is going to go down. So that's a nice little split in this wall. Duck Nugget's over here, bringing over. Nice little snipe there on that Hersa, getting a bit out of the way. Longhouse number 1 goes down. And that is going to force these gold miners back. But there is a very defensive gold mine down here to pull back to. So not bad. And from this side, we're seeing Hamask coming through, which is the Berserk upgrade. So if he gets a decent amount of Berserks out, they get extra speed, and the damage versus myth units is just whatever. But the extra speed is definitely nice. So 5.3 speed on those dudes. Scardy just about to pop, and Dexito goes, I'm going to grab this town center, kind of keep you within this base here. I mean, the good thing for Duck Nugget is he does have 2 gold mines in here, and a town center if he wants to go for it. It's walled it up pretty nicely, but Dexito is going for some kind of contain. He does have the Raven on this side. Does he spot that there's 2 gold mines there? Yeah, he does spot that there's 2 gold mines, so he knows exactly what the situation is, but going for some kind of contain within this area. Duck Nugget's just popping forward to see what's going on. Does spot this town center, and now he's just going to bail. Something from Duck Nugget's side is... he's used his Dwarven Mine. I don't know about that one. I don't know if that one's worth it or not. Because, I mean, so something about this, which is good, is that the villagers that come out straight away are going to get some gold. They don't have to walk over here, less susceptible to raids. But also, just mine something while you can. I think it would even be worth having a couple on here, just to slowly be mining the front gold mine, and then when you get attacked, you can pull back. Nice hill fort going up, but Dexito is also on the way through Skadi. And I think the Odin here is going to match up nicely against what Thor's doing. We'll have more population to play with also, so if he wants to go for some kind of 2TC, you know, 16 house full pop kind of push, it could be very, very strong. Heavy raiders in for Duck Nugget though. Duck Nugget going for this town center and could frost the army, but there is going to be a frost coming through for the Odin also. I think you kind of need to use it as a defensive situation rather than to counter what your opponent's frost is doing. Duck Nugget does retreat slightly, and it looks like there's going to be a big fight here. Throwing Axeman trying to micro onto the Herdman. It's very, very difficult. They hide right there. Looks like Duck Nugget's micro is also going on those Throwing Axemen. Full front line for Dexito is down. Town Center helping out for the red side, but Hill Fort on this blue side. Jarl's coming through. It's very good for tanking. Would be worth getting those Throwing Axemen just to run through the town center, just to kind of help them out there. Portable Ram coming through, just trying to take down the town center, stop its DPS. But both sides very, very equal. You would think that this would be in the defender's advantage for Duck Nugget, but some really nice forward buildings from Dexito's side. Frost Giant coming through for blue, though. I'm not sure where the red Frost Giant is. Probably one of these red dots that's coming in. Definitely worth jumping into this town center. Unfortunately, going to lose a couple more Throwing Axemen than he would have liked. And Duck Nugget does win that fight. Very close, though. And nice bit of micro there to take down the portable ram. But unfortunately, there's just not enough units there. And just the Thor, the heavy upgrades there, the extra armory upgrades really coming in clutch. And it's going to force all these units away. Both players really respecting the kind of frosts there, the frost that their opponent could have done, not being too trigger happy with it. And all these buildings will go down, unfortunately. I think if Dexito there just did a bit of micro within the town center, I think he would have won that fight. Just needed to bring those Throwing Axemen in, run them just behind so they couldn't get attacked by the raiders, and do a bit of nice micro there. But unfortunately, wasn't thinking about that one. And that did let Duck Nugget come through, and it's going to get mad value taking out all these buildings. So we see Thor, Frost Giants coming in, Frost Giant upgrades, and the town center going to be grabbed this side. Now from this side, Dexito, what has he got going on? He's grabbing his own town center. Eco-wise, very similar. Very, very similar. So grabbing the town center is fine. It's just... Oh, and a huge raid coming in from Duck Nugget here. Probably a bit greedy to keep them out on this side when there was a really nicely well-placed wall coming up. And all of those are going to go down. Huge raid. Settlement is up though, and it's the same kind of situation here for Dexito with his very defensive gold mines. And can defend pretty nicely. Yeah, I think when this Frost Giant push comes in, maybe Duck Nugget getting a little bit greedy there, trying to go for a little bit too much while he's grabbing his town center, while he's raiding this side. So Dexito is punishing, but then sees the Frost Giants and goes, nah. Not dealing with that one. Defensive walls coming up for the Odin as well. No watchtowers because it didn't really make sense up until this point. And I think there's one house that hasn't been started, so the Thor is in, and it's going to get a huge raid over this side. So many villagers here. Do the villagers? No, they don't have their hunting equipment, so it's going to be an absolute massacre here to the Dexito villagers. And I think Duck Nugget is also distracting this side. Does force a frost up there, but so many villagers here are gonna go down. So there's a decent amount of herdmen come over. A nice split up here, splitting some of the raiders to run away just to get an extra kill over there. Nice play. And the frost, yeah, frost has been forced, but then as soon as that one's finished, Duck Nugget does have another frost. I mean, classic Norse mirror, it came down to one big fight, and I think just a bit of micro within the town center, and I think that goes much better for the Odin. But again, well played to Duck Nugget there. Game number 3, and Duck Nugget has played these first 2 games very well. I think Dexito's had a chance. He definitely had a good chance in that last game. I think the first game, the rush from those portable rams, siege rush, was too much for him. But the second game is really, really close. I think just a slightly different fight could have gone Dexito's way. So only another Norse mirror. So we'll see how this one goes. Map is Alfheim. Dexito picked some quite defensive maps for his Norse. So we'll see how he can make this one work. The top side, Duck Nugget has picked the Loki. We said it's a Norse mirror. Dexito down the bottom, in the maybe left, slightly to the left. He is the Frey. Now for this one, Frey is obviously most of the time defensive. It's kind of what you do when you play Frey. The only thing is, I think in the Norse mirror, especially when your opponent has Heimdall, it just makes sense to go Freya. That's what I've done when I've played as Frey. It makes sense to go Freya. You kind of role play as that Odin kind of more aggressive style, and you just kind of wait for your upgrades to come in, not fight too early, and get something done there. Kind of go for the kind of more raiding style. Obviously, this is Alfheim, so it makes that a little bit more difficult. Duck Nugget coming through to drop a spy on one of these villagers. Does he go for a villager? Food villagers, wood villagers. He's going for a food villager. As a recent Loki main, the vote's finished. Golden Royal, sorry, it was yeah, probably did it too early. But yeah, as a recent Loki main, I'm kind of figuring out what's best to spy. And for the Norse players, I really like spying the Berserk. It's quite hard to find it, because obviously the Berserk could literally be anywhere. But you then know where the temple is, you know where the first couple of buildings, what the first couple of buildings are, whether that's going to be like double longhouse, whether they're going to go for both. It just kind of dictates what they're going to do. You know more what they're going to do. Obviously, the food villagers are good, because more often than not, they're going to stay on food. Sometimes they do shift over to wood, while I'm going up to the next stage to get more buildings down, so then they could just sit wherever they are. If they are food villagers, they might move out to these berries at some point. You get a good raid off. And the gold miners for that kind of 8 to 12 minute mark, depending on what civ you are and how many dwarves you've built, of where they're going to go. But probably around the kind of 10 minutes is when the gold miners move over. There's going to be a late temple for the Frey. Actually quite a late temple, going for a slower advance time, whereas Duck Nugget has gone for Heimdall, and he's going to try a bit of a Heimdall rush here, or at least he's going through with Hakon the Powerful. He's going to try and have a scout around. We're going to see what he's seen so far. So temple here, just a random house, and the Berserk coming around the back just to see what's going on. One other good thing, if you're going through Heimdall, of putting a spy on the Berserk, is if you get a couple of buildings that are thrown down really, really quickly, then your Heimdall Undermine does some really good damage to buildings that aren't yet finished. And I think this Berserk's going to get a little bit caught out. Einherji coming in, and the Einherji is going to speed up that Hersa just to get some more wax off. Berserk should easily be able to run into the sentry tower. No problems there. Unfortunately, the house isn't going to get finished, and no wall up here. So that's a little bit troublesome. But there is a very forward gold mine, so Duck Nugget wants to capitalize on that one. Dexito has gone for the Freya, which makes sense. And actually, temple plus that house plus the tower is going to go down to that very early undermine. Hersa did manage to get taken out by the villager there, so not bad. Unfortunately, it was quite a late advance time, so Eric the Victorious won't get too much damage done And the Berserk's kind of wailing on that ox cart, and the Berserk is not a fan of the town center. We'll have to back up. Einherji tanking pretty nicely. Needs to be on top of that town center micro. You need to micro it onto one of the Hersa, because the Einherji will tank for absolute days. Looks like... Or, I mean, it will eventually take it down. Taking all these units around and sniping could be a good idea, but unfortunately does lose a villager there. And some of the villagers getting caught on the temple even. What's getting hit? Oh, there's a Berserk just wailing on this sentry tower. And Duck Nugget getting some huge early value here. Absolutely massive. It's going to run away there. Einherji is unfortunately... Does get one last blow of the horn, but goes down and forces out very early Golem Bursty. Could have dropped that one down earlier if he wanted to. Even Archaic Cage Golem Bursty does something, right? But it's not something you want to use, that's for sure. And Duck Nugget runs away very nicely. It's always what you want to do against this thing. It's very slow. Temple does come down, so Valkyrie in. But a lot of damage has been done already. Yeah. The Loki does just need to run away right now. No need to take free damage to this Golem Bursty. And then as soon as that one goes down, the Loki can continue. Getting some throwing axemen in from this side. The Freya Valkyrie is going to be a nice addition to kind of heal up these low HP targets. Unfortunately, no little wall over here, so susceptible to more raids. But very quick reaction time there from Dexito. He was expecting it, so not bad. Also, one unit going down from this side. So Dexito getting a bit of value on that top side. The blue Hersers are just trying to go straight after the house. Unfortunately, throwing away a unit there. Not ideal. The Valkyrie tanking up for a while. Needs to just get inside that town center range. Oh, you don't want to be losing the Valkyrie there. Huge pick off for Duck Nugget. I mean, the Valkyrie obviously does insane damage, but it's more there for that kind of healing in this situation. And Duck Nugget's taking his foot off the pedal a little bit. Is going to lose one Hersa this side, and will lose the other Hersa if he carries on, but should be able to run away in time. The good thing about this Berserk Hersa combo is that the Berserk can kind of snare up the Hersa so it can't run away, and then the Hersa can't take that fight, because there is two of them. So, nice little bit of value there, but eco-wise, so 6 villagers difference, so 6 villagers-ish went down for the fray. Actually, Dexito's not building any. Maybe that's why. I think the pressure's definitely got to him during this game. I didn't think that many villagers went down. I think it was only a couple, but unfortunately, I think he must have got a Berserk out of the town center, which is a great thing to do when you're being rushed down. But you just got to remember to then grab those villagers later. It's like the one curse of auto queue is that you just think it's on, even when it's not. But he technically has more resources to spend in the short term, so could win this fight, but he'd need to win it pretty handily and notice that these villagers aren't coming out. I think he must have thought he had dwarves auto-queued, because that's kind of where he's placing it right there, and has noticed. So, is 9 villagers behind though, so I think it was about... we're going to call it 3. I think it was about 3 sniped, potentially 4. With that Ulfsark being produced, so he's probably missed about 6 villager cycles there, which definitely feels bad. There's a Wayward House, which Dexito is capitalizing on very nicely, but the army for Duck Nugget is pretty scary. You can get some nice throwing axeman micro, though, could be a good idea. Gold mine, 1,000 gold left in it. Valkyrie number 2 built, which is a nice addition. And these little snipes, throwing axeman, trying to get some free value there, some free chip damage, but not too much against the Valkyrie. She's pretty tanky with that horse. And then Duck Nugget, because he knows he's got the pressure on, he can just move out to these forward berry bushes, no problem. Could potentially move down here. Maybe that's a little bit too greedy, but it would be slightly more efficient. But then this is less walking, so the food that's there is always good. And Duck Nugget actually going for that Galahorn, which boosts the Einherji special to last for longer. So the Einherji special is kind of like the mini flaming weapons plus a speed boost, and it's pretty strong. I think the speed boost is the almost the stronger part of it. It means you can chase things down that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. You can engage really quick. You can surprise people. Then obviously in a drawn out fight, the extra damage does do wonders. Again, kind of stray house going down. So Dexeter getting some free value. The Berserk raids are on the way, coming through to this wood line. And watchtowers are up though. Yeah, the spied villager is going to get spotted, but watchtower should be enough just to garrison into, unless Duck Nugget's positioning is very, very nice here to kind of stop him moving into that watchtower. And we'll get one villager just going straight for the town center. Does get one villager for one Ulfsark trade. Considering how many villagers he is ahead, I think that was a fine trade for Duck Nugget to make. But it does mean he is susceptible to aggression on this front side. I think if there was kind of less of an answer to move over here, could have just gone straight for this front base. Nice bit of throwing Axeman micro. Right-clicking down those hearses too, not just attack moving to go after the Valkyrie. Nice building placements also. I think because Dexito's quite far behind in these eco numbers, definitely needs to get some good military value here. Throwing Axeman coming in, throwing Axeman not shift-clicking down these red medium throwing Axeman. Unfortunately, throwing Axeman here going after the Einherry. I mean, it will be taken down eventually. They just don't do as much damage as if he was going after his direct counter and another Einherry spawn. That was the perfect spawn there since he's got the upgrade for it. Absolutely huge. But the Loki's biding his time. Not getting overzealous. I think, yeah, the worst thing to do in this kind of position where you know you're ahead is to just force something when you're not ready. And I think he is ahead in the military numbers, but with these watchtowers, with the town center, it's a little bit scary. But this is something that's definitely worth doing. Even more so on a map like Alfheim, is if you've got the map pressure, just start to wall it up. There's just no reason not to. When you're Norse too, it's just basically free. You don't have to spend any villager time to whack these up. It's got wooden wall here, can move over here if he wants to, but doesn't really need it with these great halls. Going for some forward towers. I respect the towers. I think maybe here, I think he's trying to secure this gold mine for later on. The gold mine at home has finished up. So it is 12 minutes in. We said the 8 to 12 minute kind of mark. Oh, it doesn't finish it up. The wall is coming in clutch. Dexeter getting some free damage off there and is going to be able to finish this watchtower. This is definitely what he needs to be able to push out. Unfortunately for him, there's no forest that he could really fight next to get some big forest fire value. Does need to move out his villagers to this gold mine if he wants to. Does he have a market? Does have a market. Can sell for quite a while. The issue is that he doesn't really have the eco to do that, but it's just going to move forward. And Duck Nugget, he needs to spend his resources, really, if he wants to go for a fight. So I think he could be even more ahead if he just spends those. I think potentially he was thinking about next age, but he just needs to commit to this full classical, I think. Does get the forest fire value on that tiny little tree, actually, so does use that one. Throwing Axeman all half HP, and nice space out of those Einherry blasts. Sometimes it is just worth doing all of them. I'm pretty sure they stack. But 4 Einherries and a Dream. Needs to just attack something that's not an Einherry, though. And does manage to take out everything. If Dexito could just get a couple of heroes out, I think he'll be in an absolutely fine position. Needs to just micro down those throwing axemen. I mean, I say fine position. He'll have his gold mine. Yeah, the Einherries is too strong with no heroes around. Valkyries also, they are an option. And Dexito using the walls very nicely, though. But this gold mine is so tough. No, I don't think they do stack. I think it just puts it back up to the top. So it puts it back up to that 28. So I do need to kind of space those out a little bit. He's got so many. He can afford to overlap them. Not really a problem. So many Einherries that they're actually pretty quick. These are meant to be slow units, but if you've got enough of them. Needs to go after the right one, though. Needs to find those low HP. Stand behind the wall. Yeah, just a couple of hearses here would be nice. I mean, slowly taking down those Eineries, though. Not bad. Nice idea to bring the villagers forward. Villagers have a 4x multiplier versus towers for anyone unaware. So they are a great option to go against those towers. And actually, Dexito forcing Duck Nugget back. But does he have anything that, apart from these throwing axemen? He's also in food starved here. There's only a couple of berry bushes. So even needs to drop some farms. Duck Nugget really surrounding very nicely, playing this kind of contain strat again. Well, actually, he was against the contain strat before. Drauga spawn is going to be absolutely disgusting. And Dexito does decide that he can't carry on there. Nice rush from Duck Nugget, just noticing that all the gold mines are so far away and there's only one that he's going to really want to go on. I mean, yeah, this was a really good spawn for Duck Nugget. But capitalized on it well. A nice 3-0. Well played to Duck Nugget. I think Dexito was close in the second one. This one, I think even if he just got a couple of hearses, I think there were points where Duck Nugget didn't really have the buildings to spend all his resources. So there was definitely a kind of timing there, but it was pretty tough for him. But GG's.